It's been a little while since we last had our chat, so back by popular demand.
Yeah, I've missed you, Jay.
Yeah, I'm sure you have. Um, well, it's good news to start with because we've literally just sold the 700th season ticket, so that's great going, isn't it?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, the whole thing, you keep giving me these updates, and it's just amazing. It's how quickly they've gone up, and obviously there's still 3-4 days left before the early bird prices sort of finish and the full price kicks in. So yeah, 700 is just a brilliant effort. I can't express how grateful I am to all the supporters that have bought tickets. It will make a huge difference. I know Paul's buzzing off the back of the updates we give him, the regular updates that we're giving him. And it's quite interesting actually, because someone messaged me privately and said that they'd had an update back in 2015 when we were first selling season tickets as Hereford Football Club, and I think at exactly the same stage we were only 100 ahead of where we are now. So when you think the excitement levels there were back then, I'm kind of really positive about the fact that we're only around 100 behind, going into kind of the new pre-season and that sort of stuff. So yeah, so once again, thank you to everybody that's purchased. If you can still purchase, please do. It'd be lovely to get up towards 1,000 if we possibly could, and that would make a huge difference to Paul's budget, because that's we haven't budgeted for that many because we were cautious in terms of how many sales we were looking for. So everything that we can get on towards 1,000 could make a huge difference to Paul and his playing budget.
Also, we've had a lot of questions about season cards. So season cards will all be printed at the start of July and be ready for collection kind of during pre-season and then the start of the season as well. So you'll be able to either come down in the week or collect it on the day of the game as well. So just to answer that question that we've had a few times. Yesterday we launched Squad Builder, which has raced pretty swiftly to £8,000 overnight, more or less, which is incredible.
Yeah, again, that's absolutely amazing, Jay. Thank you for your work putting that together and stuff. I know you've had 1,001 things. You did warn me that there's no such thing as a closed season, and I'm now beginning to understand that a little bit more. I think on my first incarnation at Hereford Football Club back when I was an employee, I left in May, so I didn't understand the closed season scenarios. That was a good plan by me, in fairness. So yeah, you did warn me there's no such thing as a closed season, and it certainly feels that way. But yeah, no, Squad Builder launched yesterday. Really brilliant reaction already, and again, we bang on about it making a huge impact on the playing budget, and it's the football is what most of us care about more than anything. So I dropped a note to Paul this morning to give him a little bit of a heads up about the progress that had been made in literally 12 to 14 hours. So that's fantastic. Again, thank you to those that have already committed. I'm going to thank people in advance for committing as and when they do, and if you are able to help in any way, shape or form, hopefully give people a real sense of actually they've made a direct contribution to what they're watching on the field of play, which would be absolutely fantastic. And again, I think we've set the target of £50,000 this year. It was 40,000 that we targeted last year and ended up with around 66. So if we can get to that 50,000 and push beyond it, then that doesn't have a massive, a huge impact on the playing budget moving forward.
And it's worth stressing, every penny of that goes straight to Paul and his playing budget. So you really can make a difference by, even if it's £5 a month or something like that.
Yeah, 100%. God, I'm sure it's somebody's sort of strapline, isn't it? Every little helps, but it quite literally it does, doesn't it? In fairness, so yeah, no, I can't. Again, I can't express enough gratitude for people helping out, and just in relation to the prizes, we've been talking about this a lot, haven't we? Obviously, on the prizes, we've talked about the prize draw once a month, and we put the sort of more run-of-the-mill prizes on there, but we are looking at each month trying to have some sort of unique money can't buy experience. I mean, someone suggested shadowing me for the day, and I was a bit like, do you really think that's a prize? That's more
I think that's going to put people off.
Yeah, punishment on a match day to shadow the chairman or whatever. But that's the type of thing we'll look at, or maybe I'll be able to come to watch a training session with me at some point during the course of the season, or being able to have a sit down with a manager ahead of the game. They're all the sort of prizes we're looking at doing. The more unique offerings, the money can't buy offerings, but obviously we also need a solid base of normal prizes that we can put forward, and they're the ones mentioned in terms of signed shirts, signed footballs, hospitality, etc. So we'll be looking to promote those once we've had a good think about it and reached agreement with people on what we can and can't do. So that'll be really good as well.
it was a really busy May. We spoke before about all the junior finals, and I think the final count was 500-600 kids that had the chance to play on Edgar Street during May, which is fantastic. We also had the sponsors game, which was enjoyable, wasn't it?
I'm still recovering from 12 days, 13 days on, but yes, it was a very nice evening, a very enjoyable evening. I had to put my inner competitive Stig back in his box at one point during the course of one of the matches, but that's, you never lose that edge, do you? But no, it was a really good night, lovely to meet. I got a chance to meet more of our sponsors than I had previously, and got to have a chat with representatives from Dawley's and people from Western Cider and Central Roofing and everything. So that was a really, really good evening.
Bar the injuries that we picked up, obviously I got a knee injury, John Nash got an ankle injury, and John Sadler got a wrist injury. So I think our team was keeping the first aiders busy anyway.
Oh, I mean, I couldn't believe how soft you were, some of you. It was kind of like, I pulled both hamstrings within the first 20 seconds of the first game, and I battled on for 4 games,
Shocking. Well as all the football that took place on the pitch in May, we also had the inflatable weekend as well, which saw, I think there were kind of 1,700 people over the course of the whole weekend, the whole 3 days. So, roughly split 50-50 with kids and adults. So, that was really good to see as well.
Yeah, no, I called in on Saturday. I brought my daughter over, and she had a bounce and a run around for an hour and a half on Saturday morning that she really loved. I know Paul brought his family down, didn't he? And they spent some time there on Sunday afternoon. I think his daughter's got a bit of a tour of the ground as well, because they were quite excited to see their dad's place of work, because they hadn't had the chance to see it before. I think he did send a message through saying, if anybody finds my hamstring anywhere on the Edgar Street pitch, could you please return it to me? But I don't quite know what he got up to. I thought there was an adult limit a kids limit on the bouncy castles. But yeah, no, it was really, really good. And I was there early on Saturday, and the atmosphere was already beginning to build, and it was nice, just to see Edgar Street used for other things and not just the football. And there's probably quite a lot of people who were in and around the ground over the weekend who aren't necessarily there on a normal time. So yes, it was a really good event. The weather gods smiled on us, which was kind of crucial in terms of the success of the event. But no, yeah, it was really good. And I just, thanks to all the staff and the volunteers and everybody that helped put that event on, and even you, Jay, and everybody that helped put the event on and made sure it ran smoothly. It was really good to see, and yeah, it looked like a really worthwhile exercise.
Yeah, I have to name Adam, because Adam was there for the whole weekend, did a fantastic job with the bars and the food and things. So credit to him and his staff. They all went, as they always do, above and beyond. So yeah, that's fantastic. Looking outside the window now, and Ben and his team are out there on the pitch, kind of preparing it for the start of the next season. They've kind of taken all the dead grass out, and I think they're seeding it and sanding it today. So the work really does continue. Like you said earlier, there's not much of a shutdown during close season, but without praising Ben too much, because his head will get even bigger. But the pitch has been great, hasn't it? And it's down to the work that he puts in.
Yeah, it's an amazing surface, isn't it? It's commented on regularly. We're spoilt by it, really. Our players are spoilt by how good the surface is, but everybody comments on what a great surface is. In my mind, I've just got this image of Ben at the end of the pitch on Monday night, when the inflatables were being deflated, revving his tractor, ready to get on the outfield, almost in a threatening and menacing manner to get on there to start the work, because he's that keen to get on with it.
He was driving up and down when they were still packing away.
That doesn't surprise me in the slightest. I thought that might. I'm glad my vision in my mind's eye hasn't let me down. But yeah, no. But we all know what a fantastic job Ben does, and he goes above and beyond, in terms of the time and effort he puts on it. He always jokes that it's his baby, doesn't he? And it really is. And he just does a fantastic job. So very much look forward to seeing how it looks again at the start of the season. You can't comprehend how it probably looks today compared to how it'll look when we first see the white shirts back on it in July.
And credit to him, because we don't make it easy for him. We obviously leave it right to the last minute. We let him get on it at the start of end of May, start of June, and then we insist on having it for pre-season in July. So he doesn't have a great deal of time to do it, but he doesn't moan much. He gets on and does a fantastic job.
Yeah, I don't really want to consider what names he calls us behind our backs, Jamie. But But yeah, no, he does a great job. And obviously our pre-season friendlies this year are a little bit earlier, the home ones, than they have been in previous years. But he was fully supportive of that, and he said he knows the importance of us being able to get games on. And if we've got good, strong fixtures that we can get in at a date, he said I'll work around. He said I'll work around whatever's needed, and he's brilliant. He's incredibly supportive, Ben, and you know, as you said, don't want to make his head too big, but he is a great lad as well, isn't he? So it's really good.
Yeah, fantastic. Whilst we got the pre-season, obviously in July, the 2 home pre-season friendlies, we've also got that spare Saturday on the 22nd of July, which we're going to have a bit of an open training session and a bit of an open day as well.
Yeah, I think it's really important. We've said all along, haven't we, that we've got to try and get the supporters closer to the team and just try and get everybody back together and, you know, really everybody working in unison. So Paul's fully supportive of having an open day on the Saturday, 22nd of July. He'll put an open training session on with the squad that people will be able to watch from the stands just to see them going about their work. I think potentially we'll look at maybe on a little fan zone outside Radford's maybe. You're pushing very hard, and all the signs are that we hopefully will have the new home shirts stocked by that day, and hopefully, fingers crossed, yeah, absolutely, I've done it now, haven't I, by saying it out loud. Hopefully we'll have that in stock by that day, so we can put that on sale that day as well, which will hopefully invigorate some interest. And then Paul and I have talked about maybe doing a bit of a fans forum, potentially in the afternoon as well, in the RE Resource group Hereford suite, just a bit like the one we did previously, but obviously that'll be much closer to the start of the season as well. And hopefully, with obviously the players being down, they'll be able to do a little bit of a autograph signing session and that sort of stuff as well for supporters. So yeah, potentially it's got the potential to be a really good day, that has. But obviously plans are at a fairly early stage, and we'll release the definitive detail when we move closer to that date.
Brilliant. I think that's probably everything that that I wanted to talk about. Anyway, have you got anything that you want to add?
Well, it's just, I mean, no, just again, it's not our area of expertise, is it? But it's good to see that sort of squad appears to be growing sort of week by week, and obviously we've announced a couple more signings this week in Adam Livingston and Curtis Bonds, a goalkeeper, and I suspect you probably do need a goalkeeper, don't you? So that's probably a good sign that we've now sort of, he's now secured the services of one. And it's just been really great to work with Paul. He's got a very specific type of player he's looking for, and very specific characteristics. And he's obviously, when he's talking to players, he's obviously asking them some pretty tough questions, making demands of them. He's clearly allowing them to understand what he'll be looking for in people. And I know there have been some players that he hasn't progressed talks with because it hasn't gone in the direction he wanted to. So yeah, he's been great to deal with. It's really refreshing to hear him talk about, you know, what he's looking for and what he's doing. And I think I share the excitement that I'm seeing a little bit from supporters as well, that what the squad that's coming together is going to be all about once it gets out on the field of play.
Brilliant. Let's hope we get off to a decent start. And I guess it's worth saying again, season tickets and squad builder can really help Paul and his budget and his recruitment. Yeah,
100%. But I have to say, he hasn't once come back to me, or, you know, about the budget or anything. He's just happily, you know, he's working away with, you know, what we've got, what we presented with him with through the interview process, and he's just cracking on with it. He clearly has said, if any more comes in, then excellent. But at the moment, I'll just focus on working with what I've got. That's what I'm working on, and go from there. So yeah, but equally, you know, it'll be great for supporters, I think, to feel that through their commitment to buying season tickets and hopefully the squad builder, they can have an impact on helping Paul add even more qualities to his squad. So yeah, interesting times. I'm quietly optimistic. I don't like to say it. I'm naturally quite, let's say, negative in relation to Hereford United or Hereford Football Club, but I think that comes with years of scarring, doesn't it? To be honest with you,
years of experience, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm quietly pleased with the direction of travel, and just like to say thank you to everybody out there for their support. It's been absolutely, you know, fantastic. We've had lots of good, you know, messages wishing us well and all that sort of stuff. And it's just, you know, exciting times, hopefully.